Hello friends, today in this tutorial I will be telling you that how to use the Google Picker API in order to select the Google Drive files that are stored inside your Google account. So this is a demo application that we will be building in this tutorial. So there is a button out there, Show Picker Dialog. If I hit this button, a series of accounts will be shown to me asking for the permissions. You can see that these are the accounts, Google accounts that are present in my directory here. If I select this account, then a file picker dialog will be shown to me using the Google Picker API. So this is the dialog box which is shown to me, and it contains all the images and the files which are stored inside the Google Drive. And here I can just select multiple files also by selecting, you can see that if I select this image file, you will see that the user has selected and then the ID of this file has been printed out in the alert box. So this is a short little application that we will be building in this tutorial. So through this tutorial you will get to know about the Google Picker API. If you search on Google, that is Google Picker API, so this is an API provided by Google in order to pick images files that are stored inside your Google Drive. So we will be looking at a real life example here, and all the source code of this application is given in the video description. I have written a detailed blog post, so the link is there in the video description. So just go to this link and you have this blog post, Google File Picker API with Google Drive in JavaScript working example. And here in this tutorial I have shown the all the screenshot also how to achieve that, and the whole source code is present inside in the description. So this is all the source code which is necessary here. You can see that. Just copy it and paste it inside your working directory. So let's get started by building this application, guys. So now open your favorite text editor and make an index.html file. I'm using XAMPP here for my local server. You can see that XAMPP localhost, and I have started the Apache server on port 80. And here in this index.html file, first of all we will be building a very simple HTML file. So let me just give it a title, that is Google Picker API example. And here after that we will be including our Google Client Library. So basically if you just search on Google here, Google Client Library, you will be shown to you that you can see that there are various client libraries which are present for JavaScript, Node.js, all that stuff, but we just need the client library for JavaScript. So here inside my source code I will just copy paste this client library here. So I will just copy the script here, and right here after the body I will paste it. So let me just declare the body here. After the body we will paste this client library. So this is very much necessary here. You can see that apis.google.com/js/api.js. So after this, guys, inside the body we will be having a simple button. I will be giving a on click attribute to it. So on click will be whenever we need to show the dialog box. So picker dialog, we will be executing this function, and we will be providing a label to it, that is let's suppose show picker dialog. And now if I refresh my application, so I am running this on, you can see that localhost/Google Picker. So whenever I hit this button I need to show a picker dialog using Google Picker API. So first of all you just need to go to Google Developer Console, and you just need to get some things here. So Google Developer Console, and just go to this website, and we need three things. First we need the API key and client ID and the app ID name. So first of all just select here credentials, and first of all we just need to make our client ID. So here just click on the option here. Let me just delete this client ID that I have already, let me just delete it. So let me just create a brand new client ID, create credentials, and go to OAuth client ID and select this option, and here you just need to select the web application because we are building a web application. And after that, in the authorized JavaScript origins, you just need to write http://localhost because we are building on the localhost machine. And in the authorized redirect URI, you just need to copy paste the address here which we are using here. I will copy paste this address. Sorry. So if you are using a different address, so just copy this accordingly, and I will paste it here. Paste it, and now I will just create this. Click on the create option, so it will create my client ID. So it hardly takes some time here, and you will see that this is your client ID. So don't copy this client ID, it will be different for yours. So just copy your client ID, and I will store it here inside my index.html client ID just for the moment. Client ID. And one other thing that we need is, guys, we need also the API key. So just create a brand new API key. So click it, so it will create your API key, and this is your API key. So this is, again, it will be different for yours, so don't copy this. And also we will be having API key here, colon, and we will copy paste this. So we have these two things here, and apart from that we also need our project ID. But before that, you also need to enable the Google Picker API. So for that, you just need to go to the dashboard option here, and inside you need to go to enable APIs and services. So just select this option and search for the API, which is Google Picker API. So you will find this API, so just click on it. I have already enabled this API, so you will see this option API enabled. So just enable this API, and the last thing that we need is the project ID. So for that, you just need to go to admin option here. So this will be there. If you just click this, now guys, in order to get the project ID, so just go to this option here. I am an admin here, so just go to this and click on settings here, and after that you will get your project ID. So project number, so this is again different, so don't copy this, and just store this here, project ID. So now we have got these three things: client ID, API key, and project ID. So now we just need to create our custom script. So just have a script tag here, and just declare these three variables here. First for the client ID, and copy paste your client ID here. So I will just go to the dashboard here. So this is my client ID, so I will copy this. The next variable will be for the API key, so just declare the key variable and copy your API key inside this. So let me just copy it. And third will be the project ID, so just declare this project ID and copy paste this. So after declaring these three variables, we just need to load our client library, Google Client Library. So for that we will be having, but before that we also need to write the scope for Google Drive in order to list out the files. So just declare a new variable of scope, and inside this we will pass the scope that we need to provide to the API. So this will be https www.googleapis.com/auth/drive.file. So this is the scope. So this is very much important. If you don't provide it, then you will be getting an authentication error, and after declaring it, you need to load the client library of Google. And for this we will be writing our function which we have declared, which we have binded to this button here. You can see that picker dialog. So first of all we will be writing this function picker dialog, and inside this, once we hit this button, we will be loading another method which will be load picker. So now in this load picker method we will be loading our client library. So just write this load picker method, and the very first line which we need to write here is that we need to load our two client libraries. So this will be GAPI, stands for Google API dot load. So this takes the first library that we need to load is the authentication. So auth option we will provide in the first argument, and the second argument will take the callback function. In single quotes we need to write here callback. So the callback function will be on auth API loaded. And now we will be loading the second API. So the second will be the picker. So the actual picker that we need to show here, that the second argument will be again the callback. So this will be on picker API load. And now we just need to create these two functions, these two callback functions. So first we will be handling the authentication library. So we will be creating this function on auth API load. So inside this function we will be first of all be providing the client ID that we have stored inside the variable here, and the scope also. So for that we will be writing window dot GAPI dot auth dot authorize. So basically this is all in the documentation of this Google Drive API. You can just check here. So inside this takes some options here. So the first option it takes is the actual client ID that we need to provide here in single quotes. Client underscore ID, and inside put a colon, and inside this we will be providing the client ID that we have declared, and the second will be the actual scope. We will be providing the scope that we have listed out, and the third option is immediate. You also need to declare this option, and this takes a boolean value which is false here by default. And this also takes the second option which will be the callback again. So when this is successful, then this function will be automatically called from the API, which is handle auth result. So this doesn't take this parentheses, so just handle auth result. And now we also need to write this function handle auth result. So this is a callback function which gets called here, function handle auth result. So inside this function we will be getting the access token for using the API. So access token. So basically access token is a medium by which you can just interact with the API. So in order to check that if the auth result, if no error take place, then we are just checking this inside this if condition here. These options here, auth result is passed on to this function here. This auth result we need to pass it inside this function. So now we are just checking this if it contains error or not. So there is a property inside this which is of error, like this. So it is just telling that if no error take place, then only execute this code here in the if condition here. So now if no error take place, we just need to just store the OAuth token, which will be OAuth result, and there is a property inside this which will be access token, access underscore token. And after that, after getting the access token, we just need to create our picker dialog, and we will be writing the code inside this function which will be create picker. But before that, just also declare this OAuth token variable. So right here, just declare a new variable of OAuth token, just declare it. And now we just need to write the code for creating the picker. So function create picker, but before creating this function, we also need to write the function which will actually load this picker API. We have written this OAuth API load function, but now we also need to load the second API which we are loading inside load picker, which is on picker API load. Let me just copy the function name and write this function also. So right here, after this, we will write here function. So inside this, in order to load this, we will be also be declaring this boolean value picker API loaded. This will be equal to true, and in this we will also be invoking this function create picker, and one boolean value we also need to declare here. So just copy this value and declare this variable, and the default value will be false. So whenever we are successfully getting the response here, we are setting this variable to true, and then we are calling this create picker function again from this function also. So now we just need to write the simple code in order to create the picker. So first of all, we in the if condition we will check for some variables here, picker API loaded and OAuth token. So if we successfully got the access token or not. So it is just checking in the if condition here. And now we will be creating a view variable, and inside this we will be calling the API which will be google.picker.view, and inside this we will pass a option which will be google.picker.viewID .docs. So this is the option that you need to pass here, and in the blog also you will see this option being passed here. So you will see that viewID.docs. So basically this is just a constant which is there inside the API in order to load the files and the images. So after this we also need to set the mem types. So view.set mem types, and inside this we will pass the mem types of popular image types, which will be image/png, comma image.jpg, image/jpg, comma image./jpg. So if you want to allow more image types, you can just provide here image/gif, all that stuff, but I am just allowing 3 images, PNG, JPG and JPG. So after setting this, we will be declaring the picker variable, and inside this we will be calling another API method which will be google.picker.pickerBuilder. So this is a method in order to build a actual picker dialog. And now we just need to enable some methods here which will be enable feature. So inside this enable feature, we will be passing some constants which are there inside the API, which will be Google dot picker dot feature dot nav underscore hidden. And the second option we also need to pass is the multiple selection of files. So in order to allow multiple selection of images, we will be passing an option which will be again google.picker dot feature dot multi-select. Underscore enabled. So basically this will allow you to select multiple images at one time. So after this, now we will be setting our app ID, which we have declared inside this. We have declared a variable for that app ID. So this is present inside the project ID variable. Now we will be setting this. So there is a method for that, set app ID, and this takes the actual app ID which is present inside our project ID variable. Then we need to set the access token. So there is a method for that which will be set OAuth token. And this takes our access token which we have declared inside access underscore token. And then we just need to add our view that we have created early on. So add view, and we will pass this view. And then after this, we also need to add another view by again calling this add view method. Inside this, we will pass new google.picker dot docs upload view. So after that, we also need to set our developer key, the API key that we have configured inside our API key variable. So we will pass the API key which is present inside the key variable. And also it takes a callback function. If this picker is successful, then it will take a callback function, and we will be naming our callback as picker callback. So we will create this function in the next step. And lastly, we will be building our picker dialog by this build method. So this will actually build the Google picker dialog. And after that, we just need to set a simple property of picker dot set visible to true. So this will actually set the visibility to true. And now we just need to create this callback function, which is picker callback, which will execute after this code is executed. So this will function picker callback. So inside this, let me just first of all check that if it is working or not. So let me just refresh the application. Let me just delete this from here. And now if I just click the show picker dialog, so you will see that it will be asking for the account to choose here. So this choose account page is shown to me. Now let me just select this account. So it is saying to me that access underscore token is not defined. Sorry guys, we have made a very simple mistake here. I have passed this access token. I have not declared this variable. I have declared a OAuth token variable. So I will just delete this here and pass the correct variable name, which is OAuth token. So let me just show you. You will see that I have declared this OAuth token, not access token. So that is why it was creating the error. Now again, if I refresh it, click on show picker dialog. So it will again show the series of accounts. Let me just select this account, and now it will be showing me you will see that it has shown me the picker dialog. It contains all the images and images that are stored inside my Google Drive account. And now if I select this and click on select, nothing happens because I haven't written any kind of code here inside. You can see that inside this function picker callback. So let me just write some kind of code in order to display the information about the selected file. So inside this we will be having a if condition data.action. So this data will be passed inside this callback function. So whatever files have been selected, data.action double equal to google dot picker dot action dot picked. So basically this is just a constant inside the API. So basically it is saying that if the action is equal to the picked action, if the user has selected any kind of file here, then we need to print out the information about that file. So for that we will be declaring a field variable. Inside this we will be writing data.docs. So this is the array. We will be writing the first element that the user has selected, and we need to get the ID of it, .id. And now we can just print out this information inside the alert box, that is the user has selected, and we will just concatenate the field like this. That's it guys. So the application is complete, and now if I just refresh the application, what you will see that if I hit this show picker dialog, it will show me the picker dialog. Just wait. So it is saying that picker dialog is not defined, and why? On line 76. Picker callback. No error was there guys. This was my error with my system. So now if I just refresh the application, click on show picker dialog, it will show you the series of dialogs. If I select this account, and then it will show me the picker dialog where I can just select the images which are stored inside my Google Drive. So this will load the images, so just wait. So this is a picker dialog. So now if I select this image, you will see that the user has selected, and then it has printed out the specific ID which has attached to this image. If I also you can see that. So now we have successfully made this application from scratch using the Google File Picker API inside Google Drive in JavaScript, and all the source code is there inside the video description. So just go to this blog post. Here I can just give you the full source code of this application. So thanks very much guys for watching this video.